5, I believe. So if David is with us,
Yeah.
that would-
And I see John's name here, so John Saluski may be with us too. I see him. There's a box without a picture.
Yeah, I'm here, but it's conflicting with bath time, so I don't have the video and sound on. And don't get excited, it's not my bath.
Thank you, John.
Say, whose bath is it?
And we are live now, Chair. I believe we have quorum, so you're okay to start whenever you like.
We're good to go. Thank you. I'll call to order meeting of the Grimsby Active Advisory Committee for February 16th, 2022. Remind everyone this meeting's being live streamed and recorded. First item, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anything to be disclosed? Seeing not, we'll move on. Item 3 is acceptance of the agenda. We all okay with that? Can I have a motion to accept the agenda? Thank you. That's Bruce Mackenzie and seconded by Ann. Okay, I'll just make notes here. Thank you. Okay. Next item is appointment of the chair, and according to our the agreement, it comes up the chair position once a year and cannot last longer than 2. And I've moved beyond 2, so I'm not sure who's running with this one. Is that a Marvin issue, or where do we go with that?
I can,
Peter, yeah.
Sorry, go. I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can jump in.
Peter?
Yeah, please do.
Thank you, Peter.
Not a problem. Thank you, Chair. And as you mentioned, the terms of reference do indicate that the chair will be in the position for 2 years, and then it's the goal to rotate. So we'll look at this time. If there's anyone on the committee that wants to put their name forward, they can put their name forward now, and then we'll simply just put that to a vote. Otherwise, hopefully we don't have to volunteer anyone. So if anyone willingly would like to put their name forward as chair, and I'm happy to work with them if they have any questions throughout this meeting.
Okay. Well, any volunteers? There being none. Where do we go from here? Can I see us through this meeting? Sort of technically, am I allowed to do that?
Yes, and through you, Chair, I think that's the best idea. So if you wanted to continue with this meeting,
Okay.
we'll put the word out there to the other members who weren't able to make it today.
Okay.
Maybe we can get a volunteer for the next meeting, but if you want to continue in this meeting, we'll add it on the next agenda as well.
Okay, so I won't be shot at dawn for doing this. That's good. All right, moving right along. Business arising from the previous minutes. First item we're going to do is the approval of the meeting schedule, and that was attached to our agenda. And the only question I had before we sort of move on to that one item, I guess, is the municipal elections are this year, right? And they'll start in the fall. Is there a time when the advisory committees shut down, because do they not have to be reinstalled after a new council's in place? Am I understanding the process correctly?
Through you, Chair, I can answer that. So the terms of reference for most of the committees are worded in a way that they will continue in their appointment until replaced. So your position as a committee member doesn't necessarily end when the election happens. You can continue in your capacity as a committee member until the new council appoints your replacements.
Okay, thank you. So that the elections won't interfere with our meetings. So with that said, then everybody okay with that schedule as attached to the agenda? No concerns. Okay, we'll move on that one. That's fine. Next item is we're looking for, well, staff asked us for some feedback and input on all the road safety issues that were discussed at the last meeting. And there were 4 pretty good emails put together. And so the question is really, how did that sit with staff? I guess what we're looking, you can't make decisions on every one of those items right away, but did they seem reasonable, helpful? Can they be used ultimately in the master plan for roads in Grimsby? And are some of them that can be acted on, I think had to be worked on through the town and Niagara, the region, to some of the signage issues. So anybody who's the feedback guy on that one? Is that you, Mike? Thank you.
I think I'll just quickly, Paul. I read through the emails and there were some great comments and great suggestions, and but I'll turn it over to Michael, our transportation expert. He'll be able to speak to this a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, look, thanks, Marvin, and through you, Chair. Yeah. All of the information that was provided was good. It is useful. I guess the best way to say this is a lot of the concerns and recommendations that you guys have put forward is similar to what we have already kind of identified and what we have planned to include as when we go through our transportation master plan process. I guess I kind of want to put a question back to the group. Is there any specific items that we should be really talking about, or any questions that or any discussion that we want to have with regards to what was put forward? As we said before, a lot of the things surrounding concerns along Main Street, what we can do as staff is put together kind of a formal email or questionnaire to the region that we can have them specifically answer give specific answers to these concerns. That way everyone's aware of what the process is or what sorts of things they have planned, because again, unfortunately for us, we can give our thoughts, but until the region gives their thoughts, it's kind of up in the air. So I guess I'll put the question back to the group. Is there anything in particular that the group wants to ask or discuss about?
Feel free, anyone. Yeah, Anne, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Yeah.
I would say that the third and fourth point on that list on the agenda are probably the easiest and the least costly, and things that we could probably hope to see the soonest, which would be signage to, keeping people aware of the speed limit, of cyclists, of sharing the road, of the safe, the 1 meter passing distance when cars are passing, anything like that to make motorists aware of people on bikes. The second one about the soft infrastructure and traffic calming, that also, I don't think that would cost too much money. Sometimes it could just be, line painted on the road. So I would, from my opinion, those are probably the two most immediate and easiest. What does everybody else think?
Okay. Through you, Chair. So in terms of the town, on town roads, we are currently looking into roads such as Winston and Lake Street. Now, those are two areas where we currently have bicycle facilities. They do feature the bike signage and the pavement markings. What we're going to be looking to do in the near future is some additional enhancements with to the existing features there. So making sure we have proper lanes delineated, ensure that the signage is, we're going to review the signage, make sure that it's spaced properly and that there's enough. I know that there was an issue brought up on Lake Street with regards to parking. Just for everybody's understanding, parking in a bike lane is prohibited because it is a travel lane. If it is in a section that is, say, a share the road portion, because along Lake Street, the bike lane is discontinuous. It's only the actual lanes are there for a certain portion of it. And then when the lanes, or when this road narrows, it becomes a share the road situation. In that type of situation, parking is allowed where not signed or otherwise. There wouldn't be anything the town could do there, but we can certainly increase enforcement if there's parking in bike lanes. And then other than that, we'll be making sure that we are including how we can better connect what our existing bike facilities are when we go through that TMP process. So we'll be so the information that was provided was good, and that Winston Road and Lake Street were identified as ones that people will want to see, and how we can do that will be a topic that will be discussed and analyzed through the TMP process.
And
Yeah, I think a lot of people mentioned Main, East, and West too, needing attention. Mike.
Yeah, so we're going to take that to the region and see what they have planned. So we know that there is some road work along Main Street forecasted. Marvin had mentioned that in some of the previous meetings. With all their new construction, they're going to be the region is focused on making sure that they accommodate all forms of all modes of travel, so cyclists and pedestrians. To how they do that is kind of up to them, and what in the way they see fit based on the existing right of way or what's there currently. So for sections like the older section of Main Street there, it all depends on how much property they have. So they might not be able to actually fit a physical bike lane in there. It would have to be some sort of share the road type of facility. But in terms of when that would happen or what they're planning, we'll take that to them and get them to give us some feedback that we can bring back to the group.
am I right at the last meeting? Anyone else? Did we not say that at some point it might be nice to get somebody from the region to actually speak to this group about that kind of plan, their timing, and just so that they could lay that out for us? Because it seems to me, I remember the region meeting at Nellis Public School maybe 4 or 5 years ago, again, looking for community feedback. And actually some of us did a little walk around with reps from the region, looking at where bike lanes might go and what their plans might be to slow down the traffic on Main Street. And it all seemed to center around when they were redoing the roads and the underlying infrastructure. They were going to do these things all at once. It would be interesting to see if they actually have a plan and a timeline on any of that kind of stuff. So maybe we could get one of the appropriate rep to speak with us sometime down the way before our year ends. Anyway, it would be nice to have that conversation. Does that suit others if we could do that? Yeah. Good. I guess that would be coordinated through you, would it, Mike? If you know, we'd want a little prep time to get our questions together. We might as well make a meeting like that as useful as possible.
Yeah, for sure. We'll reach out. We can reach out to them and see about having someone come and a representative come and speak to the group, and beforehand, we'll make sure to get the group prepped for that meeting. But I think Marvin can also speak to that as well.
Yeah. It's a big chunk of roadway that we depend on them for our service, don't we? I mean, yeah. Main Street, East and West, it's a lot of our main thoroughfare. So, Marvin? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Paul. Maybe I'll just chime in to follow up on Mike's comments. So what I can share is I guess what I do know. The section of Main Street west of Casablanca, that's currently under design, and there will be accommodation for bicycles. What we don't know, and actually I reached out to the region just a day or two ago just for some updates. They're still not sure what it will look like either. They're looking at their complete streets, guidelines that are coming forward, and so that section is probably going to be constructed next year. I think it'll be designed this year, construction next year. Of course, that's subject to their their schedule. And then Casablanca, which would be then kind of a continuation of a bike connection to Livingston. That's slated for, it's under design right now, and that's slated for construction over the next couple of years. You may actually see it start as early as this fall on the north part of Casablanca. And then the meeting that I believe Jimmy is at tonight is going to lead into a reconstruction of, I guess, the extension of Livingston or through the downtown. And I guess that leaves that piece that Jimmy spoke to, that's he has concerns with as you head easterly out of Grimsby. And the region has kind of a 3-year phased anticipation for that section of roadway starting 2023 and beyond. So I would say over the next 5 years, you will see a fair amount of design and reconstruction work, resurfacing work done. And I can say whenever the region does that work, they will have accommodation for bicyclists. So that's good to know. So then I guess that leaves that section of Old Main Street that Anne, you've spoke to. There's some actual town of Grimsby underground infrastructure through that section that needs replacement. And I've been in communication with the region. We've been kind of just starting off the conversation around a partnerships that the town could go in and do the underground. And then when we're done, the region would do the road work. So that's probably in the 5-year forecast to do that work. So really what that'll leave is the section where there's no curb. And I think that's it sounds like more of a maintenance issue or concern from the committee right now with potholes and so on. So that's something we can, communicate to the region if you like, just maybe their operations folks could just take a look at that. So hopefully that's helpful. Like it almost is a continuous route east-west through Grimsby over the next 5 years that we'll see some attention from the region.
Okay, well, that gives something to go on. Thank you. Bruce McKenzie?
Yes, can you, 1 second here. Oh, I'm not muted. Can you hear me all right, Paul?
Yep. Good.
Thank you very much. And Marvin, thanks for updating us again on what the region's construction plan might be. And I may have said this before. I hope that the town can deliver a firm message to the region that the town and the region share a responsibility for whatever can be done for the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists in this town. And Anne, you spoke tonight, and I've spoken about it before, about soft infrastructure. Construction will take a long time. This is 2022. A few years ago, the Transportation Department of the region said there was a priority to get the Casablanca Road done in 2021. That hasn't been done. And we don't know when it'll be done. I think their schedules keep getting pushed off for construction. And I don't have a problem with that. But the idea of simply starting a communication program with signage, some lines painted on the road. These are not big dollars, but I would like to see a tone set by the town and the region that safety of pedestrians and cyclists is important. And I am not seeing this yet. And I, as a citizen here in Grimsby, I don't have the patience to wait for roads to be reconstructed. because I suspect it'll be 10 years before that's done. So is my question to the region, and I'll be putting this through the regional councillor and mayor, will the region bring in a soft infrastructure program for pedestrian and bicyclist safety? And then the town, in its transportation master plan, which I believe you told us will be taking place this year, correct me if I'm wrong, I hope that what I call soft infrastructure is an important part of the delivery of the transportation safety plan. So it doesn't matter what road a person is using, there is a component to the town's communication that we're going to see this set a priority for the roads of the town and the region. Thanks very much, Chair Paul.
Thank you, Bruce. Does that all sound workable from a staff end? Yeah. Yeah, I guess the soft infrastructure is it includes the traffic calming. They may even be synonymous at times. That kind of thing is what you're looking for, to make a statement, at least, Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, yes.
Thanks through you, Chair. I'll just comment on the traffic calming aspect of that. So the town has taken a stance. It's one of our strategic priorities. Council is to increase road safety, and so we, as staff, are taking some measures to be proactive in that manner as well. So I guess to give the group kind of an update as to what we're looking to do this year is we're going to be completing a pilot project for some new traffic calming measures along specific roads as a way to kind of bring attention to drivers to make sure that they're driving the speed limit. We're going to be looking into the use of some technologies such as flexible signage and flexible bollards that we can implement to kind of to test them out, and two, to kind of bring awareness to the residents. When we go through the transportation master plan process, that whole process will look at how are we going to change our vision for what the road network and transportation is going to be like in Grimsby. So all of those questions with regards to policies around road safety, infrastructure changes, areas to focus on, and things like soft infrastructure changes and those types of items will be addressed, and recommendations will be made as to how we can move forward with that vision and how we can implement it over the next decade. So I just kind of want to add that comment and kind of ensure the group that this is something that we do on a yearly basis, and we are going to be taking a more proactive step as we move forward.
Thank you. It's probably the kind of thing that I guess from a group end, we could offer if you're looking for inputs or more specifics, I think that the challenge would come back to us, but there's a lot of good content in the 4 emails that came, but if you needed something more structured, let us know. Do I speak okay for the group on that one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, great. Thank you. Any more to be said on this item, the responses and our discussion? You guys okay with that now? Looks pretty good. Thank you. Next item, it was the open items update, and that's just going to stay on our agenda. There may be no updates, but if there's anything specific to be said, this weather doesn't speak to disc golf doesn't end, but anything to be said?
From my part, not really, but maybe Sarah might have some updates.
Don't have a whole lot of update right now, other than to say we have put forward a budget item to do Centennial Park improvements, which could include disc golf. We do have our budget meeting tomorrow evening, so waiting to see where that lands. We did do a tour with some of our staff, and we did find the first two holes, we were a little bit hesitant about them. There was a lot of people actually in the park at the time and just that use. We do want to relook at those two a bit more, but we know there's more work to do anyways on kind of really shaping that out. But it is still kind of kept within the books, and we'll see where we get to. We do definitely want to make sure we do it as part of a whole park plan. So looking at all the uses in the park and make sure it's complementary, because we are looking at putting in a walking path and some various things, all things that I think would interest this group to see. So stay tuned for that. But I can tell you it is at least advancing as some work in that park to be done this year.
Is it going to be in the budget for this year?
That's what I'm saying. It is, there's a whole, it's in the park budget. It's not specifically disc golf, but it is doing redoing a whole bunch of things in that park, and that could definitely be part of it.
The other thing that you talked about you might want to do was, you said you might want to do some kind of community engagement or something to do with it, or not yet?
Yeah, so probably with a park of that size, we would be looking to get some feedback from the community as to what we're looking at doing. So that would be part of it. So if we're putting in a walking trail, we've talked a little bit about maybe outdoor fitness equipment or something like that up there. There could be a variety of different elements that we're looking at. So we would probably, piece that together, come up with a bit of a plan, and then gain some feedback from the community. What do they like? Is there something they think we've missed, and just sort of get their input right on that. So that is something we'd be looking at doing.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more on that, folks? Thank you. Bike-friendly designation. I know the groups had some questions back and forth, but is there anything specific to comment on? I think you're it, Ann. Yes.
Yeah, I have a few things to say. We've been doing quite a bit of work, Jimmy and David and I. Jimmy actually put a lot of time in, and he digitalized the paper copy of the bike-friendly application, and he set it up on Google Docs, so David, Jimmy, and I can all access the document and add to it and work on it. We had a Zoom meeting a couple weeks ago, and we basically divvied up. We each took a different section of the application, and so we've been contacting people and actually, getting information and trying to fill in the blanks on some of the different questions in the application. And I think we've been making really good progress so far. I'm just going to turn the page on my notes. Anyway, Marvin and Mike really answered a lot of questions for us from Public Works. Also Lisa Gallant from the Niagara Region Public Health. She talked to me and she sent me some good emails, and she sent a lot of detailed information for the bike-friendly application. And she also offered she could come to one of our meetings if we're interested for her to come. She's really involved in the active school travel programs. And you probably know her already, right, Paul? Anyway, yeah. She said she'd be willing to come and talk about active school programs at one of our meetings if anybody's interested. This was all going really well. And then this afternoon at 3 o'clock, I got an email from Lisa from the region saying that she just found out that Share the Roads bike-friendly community applications have been put on hold, and for now. And it looks like the next opportunity to submit our application is next fall. So kind of like that. So that just came through this afternoon. Myself, I've got a lot of paperwork and details and emails. I will probably continue putting all the information I've gathered into the form. And I guess that's the way it goes, right?
So that's sort of province-wide, that hold, is it? It's nothing personal. No.
Nothing personal against Grimsby, no.
Philip?
And is it fall 2022 or fall 2023? Because you said next fall. And that means two different things to people.
Yeah.
Fall 2022.
We were aiming for the April submission in a couple of months. We wanted to try and get as much as we could get into it and then pass it over to Sarah and her department to finish up the other things that we couldn't do, right? So we were trying to do as much of the legwork to help get it done. So now we've it said they're changing their website. They're doing some updates. They're probably going to change some of the criteria, but I think most of the things that we've covered will probably still be information that's needed in the fall. So
Thank you.
You don't have to hurry up so much.
Sarah, yes.
Yeah, and Ann, you kind of touched on it. I would say don't be discouraged. I think they do periodically update these intakes and change some of the content, but a good chunk of it will also remain the same. So I don't think the efforts will be lost at all. And probably what we can do in the meantime is, if we're still maybe going to then move towards submitting in the fall, is if you get the application done as ready as you can be, maybe as a group we can look at where are we maybe lacking a little bit more, and are there things we can do to beef up any areas before we submit in the fall. So I think we can still do a fair bit to really position ourselves well for the fall. So I know it's a bit of a disappointment to wait, but maybe there's opportunity there too.
Yeah, I hope so. Jimmy he reached out to Lincoln, because Lincoln seemed to be pretty successful, and they happily shared their 2021 application and their feedback for 2021. So it's been a good help for us to sort of see, what did they put in? Have we got this in Grimsby? And it helped me formulate the kinds of questions I needed to ask. And that's how I ended up getting in contact with Lisa Gallant, which was a good contact for us. Anyway, that's the bike update.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds positive. Thank you. The other one, neighborhood walks. I guess I'll speak to that one. Bruce isn't with us today. So January 12th, Sarah, Bruce, and we met on Zoom to discuss how to move ahead. At that time, we were looking for a single self-guided neighborhood walk to put out there and get feedback. So among other things, we were talking about making sure we had the right walk for a trial, and how to communicate it, how to get feedback online. We were thinking online at the time. It's interesting how these things unfold. After a little back and forthing on the discussion, we ended up change a bit of a sea change in our plan. We got a plan now that would see us change directions a little by working to put together some, maybe 1, 2, maybe max 3 guided walks. And I'll tell you why we like the guided, hopefully for this spring, summer, subject to COVID at the time. Guide walks, one of the concerns was getting good feedback and the quality of some of these online questionnaires. Who responds? How do you interpret them? Do you get anything out of them? So actually, Sarah kind of suggested with the guided walks, you'd have somebody to talk to people in a guide walk, and then you can sound off and get face-to-face responses to how people feel about various walks, what kinds of walks appeal, what moves them to participate. So I like that a lot, because you get more useful information. We could talk about theme walks. What would bring out families and visitors? So that's our new focus. Some of the thoughts is to tying these walks into the 100th birthday for Grimsby. So something that's Grimsby themed, something that focuses on what makes us unique: nature walks, the trees. Some specifics were Bigger Lagoon Wetlands Walk, Bruce Trail that runs through Grimsby, identifying a Carolinian tree walk with somebody who knows what they're talking about, and something maybe in conjunction with the Historical Society. So that's about 5 interesting walks that we'll work on. And one of the keys is getting the right leader on a walk like that, who can make it interesting and speak with knowledge. And we've got some folks in mind. We've got some knowledgeable people, and whether they're willing to lead the walks, we'll have to work on that. So how does that hit you folks? It certainly appealed to me, because you get more accurate feedback and you get to talk to real people. So any thoughts, comments? And I'm going to take that as a plus. That's where Sarah, anything else to add? Did I miss anything there?
No, I think you covered well. I think, as you said, there's some good people in our community we can hopefully leverage to really make them interesting and really use it to get some good feedback. One thing I will mention too, Paul, is we are hoping maybe at least to do at least one of them in the month of June, and also leverage Participation and Parks and Recreation Month, which are both happening in June. So I may talk about participation just briefly afterwards. It's something that might interest some of this group as well, but I think there's a bunch of different weave-ins. So I think it can be a lot of fun, and I think there'll be some really good interest for it.
Good. As we're speaking, another theme would be something that focused on kids and get kids out for a walk, accompanied by parents, and get them engaged in something that makes us unique in Grimsby. So, yeah, I think that could be fun if COVID frees us up. Okay. Now, generally, it seems to me the resolutions then ask me to. We've discussed everything under business arising from the previous minutes. So can I, and I won't write, but I can at least say I went through the process to get a motion to accept the reports and the discussion on the business arising from the minutes, which includes the meeting schedule, the staff responses to the committee's feedback on road safety, and the open items update. Somebody give me a hand. Thank you. And I'll take that. And there's nobody else showing but me. Procedure. Oh, there's Bruce. Thank you, Bruce McKenzie. Okay, Ann and Bruce. Procedurally, is that okay? Whoever's the procedure.
For you, Chair. That works perfectly. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Peter. Okay. All righty. New business. Vision Zero. It seems that it's something that's important to our committee, and Grimsby didn't support it, and I thought there should be some discussion around our group. Just did anybody have any particular feelings on that? I'll just give my own background. At first blush, it was obvious we'd support it for a bunch of reasons. The town has safety specifically in the town's strategic priorities. And in the wording around that, they talk about engaging and working with the region. So this was a bang-on fit to that particular strategy. Safety is in our strategy listing. It's an opportunity to connect with a group that's global. The movement behind the Vision Zero is global. You get to network, you get the experience of others, a lot of positives, and it's far-reaching. It's not just about catching people on the road for speeding tickets. It's kind of like building small and build up if it works, and if it doesn't work, you don't have to carry on. So with that said, I thought it was a bit of a no-brainer in a way. It didn't go that way, but I might have missed something. So I don't want to go in with a total sort of hard-nosed approach that it was wrong to vote down, but I must have missed something there. So and that's where we're looking for our councillor rep Kevin to speak to us about it, but he's not here tonight. So any thoughts? How did it hit you, Ann?
Well, yeah, I watched the town council meeting. Yeah. I've corresponded by email with my councillor, Dorothy Bothwell, and with Wayne Furtit. And I mean, I don't know. I can't believe it that they're not doing it. I live on a regional road, so I have a vested interest in this. Yeah. But also, because I live on a regional road, I've been told many times that the town can't help me with any of the problems on our road because it's a regional road. So I was hoping this was the chance that we could engage the region on the regional roads in Grimsby. We're kind of like the far outer reaches of the region, and sometimes I feel like, things get forgotten. If that's true, I don't know. I don't know if this can be salvaged. I don't know if it can be, brought back to council. When I watched that meeting, it seemed like some of them said, "Well, yeah, I like the idea of all this safety stuff," but they had some buts. So I just, it's too bad that they can't, find a happy compromise with the region to solve those buts, solve the problems that, the criticisms that the people who were kind of straddling the fence, and then maybe we could do it. I don't know. I'm very disappointed. I would like to see it happening. And I just wish that between the council and the region, they could find solutions that would make it work. That's my opinion.
Any other comments? again, I'm back to that belief, sort of the culture of, I think it was mentioned earlier in some of the things the town's looking, that whole culture of safety. I think that's the biggie when a whole community and a region starts to value safety and see the benefits rather than that it's a pain in the neck or a money grab for tickets. It's more about saving lives, protecting kids. And I didn't hear a whole lot of that come out of the meetings either. It was a lot about whether some counselors would get phone calls from people who got tickets. I wasn't too excited about that kind of focus. Safety is a big deal, and our counselors have accepted that in the strategy. So it's part of philosophically where we should be going. But I wondered whether I missed something, because some pretty strong people didn't vote for it. So, and in terms, some of the options was, is there something better going on at a town level than what the region could put together? I don't know. Is it Marvin or Mike or anybody? Is there anything jumps out at you that you can speak to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Paul. And I'm certainly not an expert on Vision Zero. I'll turn it over to Michael to give a little bit more explanation. But my understanding is just to your point is there are I guess different ways to I guess address traffic concerns and speeding and so on. So Vision Zero I think is one way, and perhaps there was a desire to look at other opportunities to do that. So but yeah, maybe if I can let Michael chime in on. He's got a little bit more understanding of Vision Zero and maybe some of the things that the town is already doing that really addresses some of the things that Vision Zero would address as well.
Thank you. Great, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks through you, Chair. Yeah, so Vision Zero, right, it's a philosophy. It's a mindset for municipalities, and that they want to reduce basically road-related fatalities to zero. So the way you go about doing that is going to be different from place to place. Obviously, the region has put forward a bunch of different items that they want to implement in a direction that they want to go. So we can't really speak to as to why council didn't go for it. It would be something that they would have to discuss. I would just say that from a town's point of view, we are of the opinion that we have to do these things and work towards that goal as well. But for say council, it could just be that there's specific items or there's specific ways that they want to go about it that are different than what say the region is putting forward. So we'll have to perhaps have Councillor Ritchie give us an update when next time he's here. But from a town on the town's end, like I said, we're going to be doing some work to try to test some things out and work towards improving road safety. So that's going to be our contribution to it. It will be different than the regions, but
right.
Yeah, we will be looking into all sorts of different things as well.
Thank you. If to the members on the committee, is everybody okay if I keep this on the agenda for Councillor Ritchie to speak to us, because really he's fronting us and should be carrying, I think, our concerns about safety. And if something comes out that's better, then I think it behooves him to let us know that, at least, because that's a significant item to pass on. It's an opportunity to get to do something more than just talk, be part of something that's actually, as I said earlier, it's global. The feds have got Vision Zero built into some of their long-term visions on roads. The province has it built into their strategy, and so passing it down to the region. So why wouldn't you be connected to something like that? Money could be an issue, but I'm not sure it's buying a whole bunch of policemen to stand on the corner. That was one of the thoughts, put the money to the police force. But the thing is that that's a lot of money. And once you have more policemen, you own that forever and ever. Whereas some of these traffic lights and the on the red lights and the speed catchers, they're just a small part of what Vision Zero really is. It's creating a whole philosophy. It's education, it's infrastructure, it's road design. It's trying to create a whole mindset about the importance of caring about the people walking on a road. And other countries can do that. So I don't. And Bruce, yes, I see your hand there. Thank you, Bruce McKenzie. Can't hear you. Oh.
I
Thank you.
apologize. Can you hear me now, Paul?
Now I got you. Yeah.
Okay, I've been having some internet connection problems this evening. I share your concerns with Vision Zero. There's many layers to the program, as Michael referred to, and it seemed that some of the members of council were focused on what the region was trying to deliver as first stage, and that was the red light cameras and the speed enforcement cameras.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, I looked at it and say, wow, you've brought in the sledgehammers. Where are the softer parts of Vision Zero, which would have been easier for everybody to accept? But what this does illustrate, to me at least, is this continuous division between the region and the town, and the citizens of the towns in Niagara suffer because one party isn't playing nice with the other party, and whether that's for political reasons or ideological reasons. The towns in Grimsby, the roads in Grimsby, I feel like we have our hands tied behind our back because somebody in 1970 made the decision that Main Street would be a regional road. And it's sort of the heartbeat of Grimsby. Why isn't town council responsible for that street? It's the worst street condition-wise in the town. And it's a regional road. And the citizens, you call town hall, and just using this as an example. And if you want to talk about a particular street or garbage, oh, that's the region, call them. You call the region, oh, that's the town, call them. We don't want to call two parties. We want to call one party, and I'm just venting here tonight, and I apologize for that, and I'll shut up soon. But I think, and there's no politicians listening tonight, but maybe they will be on a recording, and I'd be happy to have the same conversation when the mayor or Councillor Ritchie is with us. Give the citizens a break. I don't want to be told something's a regional responsibility and something's a town responsibility. Town and the region, either the region give the roads to the town and a check every year to maintain them and improve them. But we get caught. So thanks for the time.
Feel better?
Yes.
A little bit. Are there any more questions, thoughts, inputs? No, I'm not missing anything. Well, I will keep this on the next agenda then. We're all okay with that, to have Councillor Ritchie speak to us about it. Yeah, we might as well hear that. There was to be a Gibson Street Bridge update. Is that still in the works? Yep. Thank you, Marvin.
Yeah, sure. I'll thanks, Paul. I'll give the committee just a quick 30-second update. The weather has kind of slowed down the progress out there, unfortunately. But essentially, the next step is to get rid of some of the snow and a little bit warmer weather, so that the contractor can pour the footings. that's actually holding up the removal of the bridge. So once those footings are poured, they'll backfill and then remove the bridge. And then once that's done, of course, then the old abutments can be removed, and then the new bridge can be put in. So in terms of timing, right now, the latest update that we have from the contractor is they're hoping to have the bridge removed sometime in March, and they're anticipating the new bridge will be installed late spring, early summer. So that's kind of the anticipated schedule. So hopefully it'll all be in place that when the weather turns, we can all enjoy it.
Mm. Lifting that bridge will draw a crowd. That's going to be quite a lift, isn't it? That's a single lift, isn't it? They picked the whole thing up.
I think as far as I know, that's the plan, is to bring it in on a big flatbed truck and then with a crane, and that should be a pretty good show.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get there for that one. All right, thank you. That will be great. Anything else? Oh, I see no hands. Next meeting is March 16th, and there being nothing else, meetings.
Oh,
yes.
sorry, can I just add just a couple quick things?
Yes.
Just wanted to mention a few things. One of them is,
Hey.
totally stole the thunder, John.
There you go.
But good way. Aw. Hi. So cute. Oh, that's sweet. That's distracting. We'll just look at the baby.
There goes your message.
Yeah. Did just want to mention, if you recall way back in our early days, we did get some wristbands, and we talked about using them for promoting walking in the area. We still need to use them. Obviously, COVID made that much harder to give out, but I'm really hoping come the spring and the summer that we have a good opportunity to look at that. So I just wanted to put it on the radar of all of you that I think we should really target something in, April, May, maybe even June. Maybe it's going to the farmer's market. Maybe there's some messaging we can tie into it, and give those out to the community, talk a little bit about what you're doing, maybe use it as an opportunity for feedback, but we should probably aim to do that this year. So did just want to put it on the radar, and let's put it on as a future agenda item if you're good with that, Paul, just so that we make sure we do that in the course of this year. Did want to share as well, it's a little bit, and I mean, not in the specific scope of this group, but I think of interest to many in this group, is we do have pickleball courts that will finally be getting constructed this year. That RFP is just going in some final stages of completion. It does need to go back to council very briefly on Monday, but hopefully all is well. And then that should be done in May. And I'm happy to say that both the courts have a bike lane and sidewalks right to that park area as well, which I think is great news. And the trails as well, just want to give a quick update on that one. In the next few weeks, we will be circulating an update as to where we're at so far. And in April, there will be more of a robust opportunity to have some more feedback. So by that point, we're going to have a proposed trail network that you can start to look at some more. Some of the how we're going to approach the trails, some signage, some classifications, maintenance, and a bunch of good stuff. So that's just something to watch out for as well. And then the last item, is I did mention earlier, Participation Month is in June. And so it is something else I'd like to bring to this group, is we'd like to tie in some walking and cycling opportunities that month. It's also Parks and Recreation Month as well. So great time to talk about trails and, being active in a whole variety of different things. So we'll bring that back to the group as well. I might have Krista, one of our staff members, join next meeting, and just talk a bit about some of the ideas we've been looking at. Last year, Participation actually does a thing in the month of June where they encourage you to log your active minutes. And if municipalities or if towns or whatever, you can win prizes if you get up to the top. We did it kind of last minute, partway through the month, and didn't really promote it very heavily. And we're getting a ton of actual action on it. And it was really good. So I think it could be a great opportunity to do a little more with, and would love to have this group chime in on that and help sort of promote that and offer some ideas as to how we can get people engaged. So just some things to think about that we'll be bringing back to you, that hopefully, when you're lying in bed trying to fall asleep, you can think about participation and wristbands.
Sarah, the participation, can that come to our next meeting? That'll give us lots of lead time. I think it'd be great to connect to that in as many ways as we can, and talk to people. That's a chance to talk to folks about what we've got in mind. Yeah.
Yes, certainly, and maybe that is a good month to even do the wristbands. And if we do one or two
Yeah.
walks and really kind of come out of the gates that month, I will have one of our team members join, and she's sort of leading some of that work on our behalf. So yeah, happy to do that because I think it's a great opportunity to be creative and find some different ways to engage with our community.
That would be nice. Yeah, 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 that's great. How many wristbands? Do you know how many we've got left? Big box?
I think it was like 400, like, you know,
Okay.
number, and it would be nice to get them out. So, let's aim for June then, as a target, and there's, I think, a variety of ways you could do that. That I think people really appreciate them. So,
Yeah. Oh, no, that'd be great. Yeah. Any other comments? Any comments back to Sarah? I think that's great. There being no more comments, I don't have to move that, do I? Call the meeting adjourned. Is that correct? Procedurally?
That is correct.
Thank you, Peter. Okay. See you next time, folks.
Night.
Night.
Bye-bye.